Science, Grade 7, Unit 13. The Earth's atmosphere. What can you see when you look at the sky? It is the afternoon, you will see the clouds or the blue sky. If it is the night, you will see stars, planets, and sometimes the moon. You see all these objects through the atmosphere. But you cannot see the atmosphere. Atmosphere is a thin layer of gases that surrounds the Earth. It spreads up nearly 700 kilometers from the Earth's surface. What are the layers of the Earth's atmosphere? There are 5 layers of the atmosphere spread out from the Earth's surface. They are troposphere. The closest layer is called troposphere. Next, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and exosphere. Again, the troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and exosphere. Again, these are the main layers of the atmosphere. Troposphere is where weather occurs. Stratosphere contains ozone layer. Mesosphere protects Earth's surface from being hit by most meteorites. Exosphere and thermosphere is the outermost layer. Atmosphere acts as a protective covering to the Earth. The main layers of atmosphere are troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, exosphere. The weight of the gases above us make a pressure on us and all the things around us. This pressure is known as atmospheric pressure. How do we measure atmospheric pressure? The unit of atmospheric pressure is millibars. When you go to the higher grades, you will be able to study how to measure atmospheric pressure. The height of a certain place from sea level is known as altitude. Keep that in mind. The height of a certain place from sea level is known as altitude. The atmosphere is divided into 5 layers based on these differences. What are they? The pressure according to the height, the temperature change in different levels. The atmospheric pressure is atmosphere is divided into 5 layers based on these facts. The pressure according to the height, the temperature change in different levels. Keep these two in your mind. What is troposphere? This is the lowest part of the atmosphere, very close to the Earth, the part where we live in. It contains most of our weather, clouds, rain, snow. In this part of the atmosphere, the temperature gets colder as the distance above the Earth increases by about 6.5 degrees Celsius per kilometer. The actual change of temperature with height varies from day to day depending on the weather. The troposphere contains about 75% of all the air in the atmosphere and almost all of the water vapor which forms clouds and rain. The decrease in temperature with height is a result of the decrease in pressure. If a parcel of air moves upwards, it expands because of the lower pressure. When air expands, it cools. So air higher up is cooler than air lower down. That is about the troposphere. Then we will move to stratosphere. This extends upwards from the troposphere to about 50 kilometers. 15 to 50 kilometers. It contains much of the ozone in the atmosphere. The increase in temperature with height occurs because of absorption of ultraviolet UV radiation from the sun by this ozone. Temperatures in the stratosphere are highest over the summer pole and lowest over the winter pole. By absorbing dangerous ultraviolet radiation, the ozone in the stratosphere protects us from skin cancer and other health damage. However, chemicals called CFC, chlorofluorocarbon. CFC stands for chlorofluorocarbon or freons and halogens, which were once used in refrigerators, spray cans and fire extinguishers, have reduced the amount of ozone in the stratosphere, particularly at polar latitudes, leading to the so-called Antarctic ozone hole. Keep this in mind when we use the chemicals CFC, freons, halogens. They damage the ozone layer. And cumulonimbus is a type of cloud similar to cumulus that extends great height and is associated with thunderstorms. This picture shows you a cumulonimbus clouds. In your textbook, the cumulotex nimbus closer to the atmosphere show the shape of an anvil. What is an anvil? I will show you. The reason for this shape is the blowing wind in the stratosphere. Go out on a day with a clear sky. This is an activity given in your textbook. Identify a cumulonimbus cloud. Continue looking at that cloud. You will see that the height of the cloud increases and the top of the cloud gets flat. Then check whether the cloud has got a shape of an anvil. I will show you a picture of an anvil. Now here you can see a picture of an anvil. This picture shows an anvil, right? So the cumulonimbus clouds get the shape of an anvil like this. Then we'll move to mesosphere. Mesosphere, the region above the stratosphere, is called the mesosphere. Here the temperature again decreases with height, reaching a minimum of about minus 90 degrees Celsius. Keep that in mind, it's minus 90 degrees Celsius. Mesosphere extends from 50 to 80 kilometers up from the sea level. This is the coldest layer among the 5 layers of the atmosphere. In this layer, water vapor gets frozen into ice clouds. When the sun sets, the rays fall on these clouds and you can see these clouds during the night time. The mesosphere starts at 50 kilometers and extends to 80 to 85 kilometers high. The top of the mesosphere, called the mesophos, is the coldest. As I mentioned earlier, that is the coldest part of Earth's atmosphere, with temperatures averaging about minus 90 degrees Celsius. This layer is hard to study. Jets and balloons don't go high enough, and satellites and space shuttles orbit too high. Scientists do know that meteors burn up this layer. The exosphere. The highest layer is extremely thin and is where the atmosphere merges into outer space. It is composed of very widely dispersed particles of hydrogen and helium. I haven't explained about the thermosphere. Before the exosphere, the thermosphere is there. Thermosphere lies from 80 to 120 kilometers up from the sea level. The air particles in this layer absorb sun's rays so that the temperature in this layer is very high. International Space Station is situated in this layer, the thermosphere. Both the special sceneries called aurora borealis and aurora australis occur in the thermosphere. Aurora borealis can be seen near the northern pole and aurora australis can be seen near the southern pole. Now in this picture you can see the vertical structure of the atmosphere. The atmosphere is divided into 4 isothermal layers or spheres: troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and I have explained exosphere. Each layer is characterized by a uniform change in temperature with increasing altitude. In some layers, there is an increase in temperature with altitude, whilst In others, it increases with increasing altitude. Now look at this picture. These are the details that can be taken from this figure. Temperature decreases with increasing height up to the troposphere. This is how it happens. The land and the sea get heated from the sun's heat. So the temperature near the land is high. The temperature of the troposphere gradually decreases away from land. Temperature increases in the stratosphere. You can see the temperature increases in the stratosphere when you go up. The reason is the presence of ozone layer which absorbs the ultraviolet rays of the sun. The stratosphere gets heated and temperature increases. Temperature in the mesosphere decreases from bottom to top. It is because there is very less amount of ozone gas to absorb sun's ultraviolet rays, UV rays. The lowest temperature is recorded in the top of the mesosphere. It is about minus 90 degrees Celsius. This temperature is less than the temperature in the Antarctic, which has the lowest temperature on the Earth. The temperature increases again in the thermosphere. The reason is the air particles in this layer highly absorb the sun's heat. Therefore, temperature increases more and more when it is close to the exosphere. Now, this picture shows air and its components. Troposphere is the most important atmospheric layer for the living beings on Earth. This figure shows the components of the troposphere. The most abundant gas is nitrogen, 78% nitrogen is present, oxygen 21%, and other gases they are also shown here. Percentage of gases in the atmosphere: nitrogen, oxygen, argon, carbon dioxide, neon, helium, crypto, xenon, hydrogen. What are the functions of the atmosphere? Functions of the atmosphere. It holds oxygen, holds carbon dioxide, holds nitrogen, regulates temperature, protects us from ultraviolet radiation, protects from small meteors, and necessary for generating sound, and also necessary for movement of flying animals and also aircraft. And there are some more in your textbook. They are given in your textbook, functions of the atmosphere. You can read the textbook. What is air pollution? Air pollution is adding substance to the atmosphere, changing its composition and causing harmful effects on organisms. There are two: gaseous pollutants and particulate pollutants. Gaseous pollutants, these are the examples: carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide. Particulate pollutants: carbon particles, lead particles, cement dust, insecticide droplets, unburned fuel droplets, asbestos particles. Now in this picture I have shown you exhaust from thermal power stations which pollute the environment, which cause air pollution. Now here in this picture also I have shown you combustion of fuel in factory, emission of poisonous gases to the atmosphere. Combustion of fuels in vehicles which pollute the environment, air pollution, burning of waste materials, eruption of volcanoes. They also pollute the environment, eruption of volcanoes. destroying forests. What are the effects of air pollution? Respiratory and heart problems, global warming, acid rains, eutrophication. We are going to discuss about eutrophication later. Effect on wildlife and depletion of ozone layer. These are some effects of air pollution. Respiratory and heart problems, global warming, acid rain, eutrophication, effect on wildlife, depletion of ozone layer. The key health problems caused by air pollution. Asthma can be caused, cancer, respiratory problems, heart disease, birth defects, intellectual disorders, tuberculosis, and immune system damage. The key health problems caused by air pollution. What are the steps to reduce air pollution? In your textbook, they have given some. Use renewable energy sources, plant trees, create awareness, regular serving of your vehicle, reduce the number of vehicles on roads with carpools and share rides, stick to recycle and reuse. So help reduce air pollution. Minimize the combustion of fossil fuels, use eco-friendly energy sources, tune the vehicle engines, release the fumes of factories through a filter, recycle the waste without burning, protect the forests. Reforestation can be done to minimize the air pollution. That is the end of my lesson today. Thank you for joining with me. Please do subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Thank you very much.